All right, I hope you can hear me. I feel so fancy with this kind of accessories in front of me. Okay, I was born in the country of Georgia. It's a former USSR. I know you probably don't know where the USSR, the Georgia, is located. So when I got to this country, people have been asking me where I'm from because of my accent. I always tell people that there's nothing I can do about my accent. I'm going to die with it. So, and I'm not trying to make any excuses or anything like that. It's just the way it works out. So the people were asking me where I was from. Of course, I was responding them, I am from country of Georgia. It is between this and that. It's this big and that big, just to give them all the general idea. But it didn't help. It didn't work it out. So the next day they will forget, so they will call me Russian girl. So, and then I kind of tried to switch this whole idea. So every time they would ask me now where I'm from, I would always respond, I'm from Georgia. And they'll say, wow, from Atlanta, that's nice. And somebody would ask me, where are you from? I was like, I'm from Georgia. Wow, you have a great Southern accent. And now when somebody's asking me where I'm from, I'm just saying from Georgia. They will say, you guys have wonderful peaches there. And I say, we sure do. And we do, by the way. So it all came down to that. So just to let you know, you can call me Russian girl. You can tell that we have a great peaches around the world. And, but, you know, I will die with my accent. So I like to travel, you know, and I like to kind of share with you some of the spaces, some of the places today. And I'm going to talk about one. But before I'm going to share that, I would like to let you know or inform you today that today, despite of all of this thing that is happening around the world, Ukraine celebrates their Independence Day. So if you are connected with that, I want to say it again, you know, happy Independence Day, and pray for Ukraine and for people over there. Okay, let's move from the Eastern Europe to way on to the Brazil. You see right over there in the pictures, it's a statue of Jesus, or it will be the statue of Christ the Redeemer. That's the official name of this statue. This statue is 98 feet tall, without counting 26 feet pedestal, you know, the stand that the statue stands on. If he stretches the arms are 82 feet wide. And it weighs 665 tons. That's how heavy it is. But it's not all that. Idea of its own, how they presented to build these things, you know, of course, began with the Catholic priest. And he took this idea to the Queen Elizabeth. And he asked for her support, with the financial support. Of course, back during that time when he asked that, it was the separation of the church from the state began. So idea has been dismissed until 1922. They couldn't find the money, but you know, all the people around there, they have gathered the money for the statue. The statue, it took us 9 years for the statue to be built. And officially in 1931, this statue has been opened, dedicated on October 10th. So this year, they're going to be celebrating 83 years of the statue to be there. However, the statue has had his own ups and downs. As you see in a small dark picture, it has a lightning. It's not just one lightning. It happens every so often. And what's most amazing about the lightnings and the damages that is happening, it's happening actually in not every so often, but in the same very spots. Head, shoulder, finger. Head, shoulder, finger. So just 2 months ago, like literally 2 months ago, there just has been another lightning that has damaged another head, shoulder, and a finger. And it took them about $250,000 to build this statue. If you translate those money back then to here, it will be about $3 billion, $300 million. So that's a lot of money. So, all right, I'm not trying to preach about that place, but I want you to be connected to what I'm about to start with, to where I'm about to finish. And a part of my sermons also, I want the people to be educated about some of the places that they have never been, or maybe tell some kind of stories that people will get familiar with, kind of became to be a bridge of sort of things. The also very amazing thing about that art is that every part of his body has been designed by different international sculptors. The face has been by Romanian, the whole body was by Polish, French, sculptor. So it all came together because of the people of different nationality. That vision, came alive with that. However, I'm going to tell you one thing about this sculpture. This statue, if you look at his face and the eyes, the sculptor did not draw the eyes. He left the eyes without, the apples. So it does not have the eyes. And if you see, I know it's hard to see, but I try to find the best, that, statue, if you look on the top of his robe, the sculptor, he put the stone heart right on top of Jesus. And my question to you today is Jesus blind? Does Jesus have a stone heart? I'm going to go from there to our story that we have just read. By the way, girls, thank you very much for putting together this the program. Originally, I had 18 pages, but when I looked around, they only gave me half an hour to preach, so I had to shred 17 of them. So you're gonna get what you're gonna get. So this is the story about the Jesus and this woman. I find very, very, very fascinated about the Bible. And most of the stories in the Bible, in the Old Testament, actually has the powerful messages connected with some sort of the women. There are women everywhere who did this, who did that, who did that, who did this. However, I think the woman represents in the Bible the strong message between God and the mankind. And every time we come across the women, they mess up their lives. They have a very tough lives, back then and even now too. They come with a long ways and they still mess up until now. We do mess up. However, this is what the story says. I found the 3 things in the Bible. When a priest caught the woman in adultery, right? Why did they only brought her to stone? Where was the man? No, seriously, where was the man? Because according to the Old Testament, if they want to be that, clear, they should have dragged him along with her. Because according to the Moses law, he says the man should be stoned along with the woman when it's caught in adultery. So where was the man? Or my question is, who is the man? Is he a priest? Is he some kind of had a position to hide? Who is that guy? We don't know that. And we never will. It's not my problem. I don't care about that. And the second thing, they probably were trying to kind of tell the whole world how clean the priests were and how sinful she was. So to compare, we are good. We are doing exactly what Moses wants us to do. We're doing exactly what God wants us to do. Look at her. We found her. Now it's about to do the business. Let's kill her. Let's stone her. Let's do our job. Don't we feel like we want to do that to someone? Sometimes when somebody did wrong to us, don't we feel like we want to just, hey, she did it. Every time my kids have an argument, guess what? I'm like, who made the mess in the room? He did. No, he did. Guess who I punish? Both. But it's easy for us to see, right, what other people did wrong versus what do we do wrong. And let's see what Jesus trying to tell these guys in the crowd. Number one, Jesus doesn't need our help to tell him who has a sin. He doesn't need our help. He sees that. He has eyes and he has a heart. So if you're trying to help him with that, don't bother. Number two, care about your own sin. Right? Take care of your own sin. That's what he told the guys over there who were about to stone her. If you have no sin, if you don't have no sin, guess what? Be the first one to stone her. And number three, that's what Jesus tells to all of us, that forgiveness comes only through the grace of God, because we don't deserve it. This woman didn't deserve it. Forgiveness comes through the grace of God. There's a whole world is probably trying to squeeze this stone just about to throw at you for what you have done, for what you're going to do, or what you are doing right now. You probably are. I don't know. I'm not your judge, and I don't want to be. Or maybe you are holding the stone against someone. So there's always, our hands are always squeezed with something. Either we want to stone it, or we want to stone it. We can't catch with the hands when people are trying to accuse us, and we won't be able to. And Jesus used his finger, right? Do you remember why Jesus used the finger? Do you remember what happened in the Old Testament? Commandments. Do you remember how the commandments were given to Moses on the mountain Sinai? God used his finger to write the commandments. So Jesus pretty much told them who was the boss, who was the creator, who was the lawgiver, who was the one who had authority to forgive and receive and love. So he was writing it down, trying to remind them who had given them a law and how they have received the law. Do you know that there were 10 commandments, correct? And on top of 10 commandments, there were over 365 laws to kind of cover. There's a subtitles, the titles about subtitles, and by the time you get under all the 10 commandments, you forget about them because there's so many things you have to take care of it. Washing the hands was number one. Otherwise, God is going to be very mad at you if you don't wash your hands. God didn't say it in the commandment. He said that if you love yourself or if you want to please me, yeah, do those things, but they don't need to know that kind of stuff. Remember what Jesus says in the Bible? He says, love your neighbor as yourself and love God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your understanding. He summarized those 10 commandments. Number two, first 5 commandments were talking just about God. If you love God, you ain't gonna dare to do something against him. And number 2, if you like the person, who sits by you. It will be your fiancé, the husband, the mother, the father, or just the person that you probably just met today. You're not going to hurt that person. You're going to respect that person. You're not going to steal from this person, right? You're not going to murder this person if you're going to command that. So it's very, very important. If you love God with all your heart, with all your mind, and all your strength, you're not going to do anything that God doesn't want you to do against him. Today, I'm just going to make sure that you know one thing. I'm going to ask you this question. What do you think Satan's favorite word is? Anybody has any idea? What's favorite? Okay. Do you have any other? Hate. Hate is more the action, but that's what we probably have to do. Yep. I also. Mm-hmm. That's the action also. I'm going to tell you, it's not a secret. It says right in the Bible. But remember this. If you don't remember what I said before, or what I'm going to say after, remember one thing. Satan's favorite word is, you ready? Tomorrow. Right? So every time you hear the calling for altar call, or every time you hear the time to repent or give up your sin that you're doing today, guess who is right in the other ear whispering you, don't worry about today. You're going to do it tomorrow. And guess what? Tomorrow never comes. Tomorrow never comes. You're going to be doing it all this time. So remember, every time you hear in one ear what you should do with your life, there's always Satan whispering you this powerful word, tomorrow. But remember, God says in the Bible, right, Paul says, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Can we do it again? I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. You know, the story doesn't give us the continuous what has happened to this woman at this chapter. But I can tell you with big, maybe confidence, if this woman would be standing in front of this statue, she would say, my Jesus is not blind. That Jesus does not have a stone heart. But if she would stand in front of the cross of Jesus, where he was crucified for her sin, she would recognize those eyes, the only sets of eyes that did not condemn her, that did not hate her. And she would remember those hands, the only hands that did not hold the stone. So if you are today not sure if you're going to get a stone from somebody else, or what you're doing with your sin, or what you're doing with your life, remember that Jesus sees you and he loves you very much. Samantha is going to lead us to the time of prayer. And if you feel that you want to come and make it straight and make it okay with God, you can always come forward. But remember, there's always somebody that tells you these words, do it tomorrow. But don't.